Good Tuesday morning. A few more clouds out there today than what we had yesterday. Of course, we were bone dry at all levels of the atmosphere yesterday. Today, as we talked about yesterday, a little bit better low level moisture today. You see some of the cumulus clouds. We didn't have anything yesterday. It was clear, it was sunny yesterday. A little bit better low level moisture in place. So that actually will help maybe a little bit on the actual high temperature today. But as far as the heat index, may make it a degree or two hotter. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network over in Lake Charles, sponsored by Market Basket. Even some high clouds over there. It's actually partly cloudy. Southwestern Louisiana, a few cumulus clouds beginning to develop. As far as any rain chances, though, any coverage would be less than 5 to 10%. Just not even worth really putting in the forecast. We started out this morning in the mid to upper 70s for lows across the area, and we should be in the upper 90s again for highs. It's still going to be pretty hot. 96, 97 for a high, and it's going to gradually get hotter as we head toward, especially say Thursday and Friday, as temperatures just above the surface get even warmer. Once again, southwestern Louisiana, you should see highs today around 96 or so, 97 maybe over around Lake Charles. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network, downtown Beaumont, mostly clear to, or mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Some high clouds, cirrus clouds there, and cumulus clouds, so probably partly cloudy this afternoon. And as we see temperatures this afternoon getting up to about 96, 97, gonna be a hot one again today, although maybe a degree less than yesterday. The heat index will be maybe a degree higher because we have a little bit more humidity than what we had yesterday. The bottom line is still gonna be hot. Take those breaks if you're having to be outdoors if you can. Of course, we started out this morning around 76, 77 in the triangle. Certainly very, very warm across the area. That's certainly, as I said, not going to change any. If anything, getting a little bit hotter as we head toward, let's say, the Thursday, Friday into the weekend time frame. Lakes area, Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. A little high clouds up there. It's mostly sunny. Be a hot one up there today. About 98, 99 is what we're forecasting for the lakes area this afternoon. So pretty hot conditions coming up as well up there as high pressure just continues to dominate our weather. So you have a bridge of high pressure, you have sinking air, you have subsidence, just doesn't allow clouds to form very tall into the atmosphere, and certainly doesn't allow many showers either, as we've seen here lately, getting very, very dry across the area. Again, we need the rainfall, but I just don't see anything significant right now in the forecast. As I said, if we see anything at all, it'd be less than 5 to 10%. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network, let's go to Port Arthur, sponsored by Troop Industrial. Partly cloudy to our south in Port Arthur. Decent visibilities, at least we're not dealing with that Saharan dust today. Good visibilities, but still very little if any shower activity expected across the area this afternoon. Port Arthur, you started out this morning near 80 for lows. It was very warm this morning. You'll get up to around 96 coming up this afternoon. So then it's going to get a little bit hotter, getting closer to that century mark, even here in the triangle by Thursday, Friday on into the weekend. Hot conditions. All right, let's head over to Orange, our Roofing 911 Skycam network over there, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Some high clouds kind of drifting in from the northeast around that ridge of high pressure, the heat dome. See a few cumulus clouds developing there as well. As we said, any rain coverage will be less than around 5 to 10%. Just really not even worth putting in the forecast, and not much wind out there either. Orange, you started out near 80 this morning too. You'll get up to around 96, maybe 97 coming up later this afternoon. Another hot day, and that's going to continue to roll on as we head toward the weekend. And like I said, even these nighttime lows are pretty warm as well. Just very warm. Can't even really get comfortable too much at night. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network outside our 12 studios, sponsored by Stonewood there. Partly cloudy skies. Yesterday we had no clouds, but the humidity was lower. Today the humidity is a little higher. That heat index may be a degree or two warmer coming up this afternoon than what we had yesterday. Hot weather rolling on. Radar, it's quiet. Don't expect much in the forecast the next several days, with that high continuing to dominate. Temperatures across the rest of the region: 90 in Kirbyville, Jasper, 92 Woodville, 91 Orange, Beaumont, 89 Port Arthur, 90, 91 out toward Houston. Once again, we'll top out 96, 97 later today. Temperature right now 89 degrees in DeRidder, and like I said, most areas started out in the mid to upper 70s across the area. This morning, those lows will continue to be pretty warm as well, upper 70s to lower 80s across the region. Current heat index already feels like 102 in Jasper. It feels like 100 in Orange, and pretty close to that here in Beaumont and Port Arthur. Heat index over in the Houston area feels like 101 already. 98 in Jennings, feels like 103 over in Lafayette. So heat index today around 104, 105, a little bit higher than yesterday just due to the better levels of low level moisture we have in place. And as we said, it's 90 in Jasper, already 91 Beaumont, Orange, 89 Port Arthur. And you can see the clouds developing just because we have better low level moisture in place. From the surface up to about, I'd say about 5,000 feet. Yesterday that level was pretty dry. 90 in Houston, 91 Conroe up to the north. See, there was those high clouds, them streaking in from the east. That's rotating around that big ridge of high pressure. Some cirrus clouds coming in. Those were actually clouds left over from thunderstorms across portions of southeastern Louisiana and Mississippi the last couple of days. We do have a stationary front, a partially stationary warm front and a cool front there. Oklahoma back into northern Mississippi. And off to our east, of course, you're farther away from that heat dome. You're farther away from the ridge of high pressure. So that's where you'll have a few thunderstorms each afternoon, as I say, along this boundary here. Get away from the boundary, see where the best moisture's at. New Orleans, east of Baton Rouge, on over to Biloxi, Mobile. There'll be thunderstorms again there, just like late yesterday, again late today. They're farther away from the ridge of high pressure, and you can see they have a little bit better moisture there as well. It'd be nice if this would work westward, but just don't see that really happening coming up over the course of the next few days. Temperatures across the state, 90. Houston, Lake Charles, Alexandria, Lufkin, 91 in Shreveport. By the way, they were over 100 yesterday. The real core of the heat of the heat, yes, you could say this summer, has been from Dallas to Oklahoma City, back to Wichita Falls, into the Texas Panhandle, this area right here. They have really had a hot summer there, and they're expecting highs again today in the 100s, not only for the rest of this week and the weekend, but all of next week. This entire region to our northwest will be in the lower 100s for highs. And we'll talk about why right now as we take a look at the upper atmosphere. Ridge of high pressure extending from the Gulf all the way into the southwest. You can see where the best moisture is, well off to our east and northeast over Mississippi on into Georgia. Now, as we've been talking about, as we head toward the end of the week and the weekend, the high will shift. Now, we're talking about the core of the high, okay, not the entire ridge, but just the main core of the high will shift a little farther away by the weekend. That's just not going to help us much on temperatures. In fact, the temperatures just above the surface get warmer later this week and this weekend, which we'll show you on the 7-day forecast just a moment. One little disturbance Saturday night, Sunday morning may, I say may, trigger a couple of thunderstorms off to our north and northeast Saturday night into early Sunday morning, or late Friday night to Saturday morning. Rainfall totals are just not there. Just don't expect much the next several days. And Futurecast, well, lots of sunshine, that's for sure. 96, 97 today and tomorrow. That's up to 98 for a high on Thursday. Lows at night in the 70s, mid to upper 70s, so pretty warm across the region coming up over the next several days and nights ahead. Houston area, you'll be around 100.